Alchemist Astrologer, and this is your June forecast for Sagittarius Sun, Sagittarius Rising, and Sagittarius Moon. All right, Sagittarius, you are represented by the Page of Coins and Judgment. So there could be a judgment call about your plans or the plans of your partner. Could be that you're getting some news that relates to finances, security, your health, but you're making some plans and you're looking out there. Whatever you are involved in right now, you feel like there's something better out there for you. So you may be turning away or making a judgment about whether perhaps you or the partner is looking outside of the relationship, if there are better opportunities out there. You're trying to make something happen that feels perhaps bigger than yourself. For some of you, this may mean opening up to new possibilities socially, romantically, making some changes in the environment, dealing with financial issues, and making this judgment call. Something is coming back to life, or you're making a decision about whether to try to revive something. Some issues that perhaps you thought were closed, resolved, they're now coming back for you to address and for you to deal with. And it may have to do with connecting with kindred spirits, people that are of like mind, people with the same goals, somebody that you feel a kinship with, a friendship, perhaps from long ago, or maybe you're getting some news from a friend, or you're making a judgment call about your friend, and it has something to do with perhaps travel, packing up and leaving, taking a trip. Or it may have to do with making a judgment about some kind of emotional baggage, something that's weighing in on the relationship from the past. Could be ego, past conditioning, past relationships. And so you're having to make a decision about a relationship that may be saddled with some kind of emotional baggage and how to get past that. Or perhaps you're actually making some plans about taking a trip or moving somewhere. Now, your partner is represented by the Lover's card and the Queen of Cups. So we have Gemini and perhaps water energy. This could be Cancer, Scorpio, Pisces, Sun, Moon, or Rising, male or female, or perhaps just the traits of this queen. So again, this is all about choices. Your partner may be making a choice. There could be, you could be guided by the divine source into what choice to make. Could be some third-party interference. You're maybe making a judgment about whether you're involved in some kind of love triangle, or your partner is trying to determine that. So you're at this crossroads where you're having to make a choice. It could be about a romantic meeting with someone. It could be about going down one path that's very different than the other, or it could be choices about multiple partners. Whatever it is, one of you is at a popularity peak. There's some demands being made. And while one of you may enjoy those encounters, it could be getting in the way of your true objective. So you have a card that says somebody may be looking outside of the primary relationship. You're trying to make a judgment call about that. And it may connect to some kind of partnership that is related to a water sign person. And so this queen is very empathic, intuitive, creative. You may be joining forces with this person, or this person perhaps may be interfering in something. But this is a person who normally, under positive circumstances, is a good listener. She can give some good advice. She's intuitive. She's maternal. So you may be dealing with issues in your connection with someone that have to do with being protected, somebody being caring, being concerned, being sensitive. So those could be issues. Now, negatively in her shadow, the queen is manipulative. She's guilt-inducing. She's a martyr for a cause for no reason. She's making unnecessary sacrifices, or she's an enabler of some sort, a victim. She can't get a handle on her emotions. And if this is about a love triangle, she may be unfaithful. So there's a choice to be made. Somebody is having to deal with a lot of demands and whether those are valid. You're also having to look at where either you or the partner has been in people please mode, where perhaps somebody is too jealous or too accommodating, too demanding, and whether that's indeed warranted in the relationship. So this may be a time where either of you decide you're going to have an honest discussion about perhaps what you can do, what you can't do. You're being more authentic, or your partner is. They're laying it all out there. And once something is cleared, you're able to move forward in a better way because now you're being your true self, or your partner is. Again, you have something to do with traveling, exploring something, whether this is traveling to another location, or exploring, your psyche, expanding your horizon somehow. And issues of equality, fairness. Now, for some of you, this may have to do with some form of litigation, a legal situation. But for others of you, perhaps there's a tie to a Libra person. And for some of you, this is simply about what is fair, how to restore order to a situation, whether that is health or your daily routine or your finances or your relationship. It's about distributing responsibility and obligation in a way that feels like you're making a compromise, especially if one of you is bending over backwards for no reason, or one of you has too many demands. This is about setting those scales right and creating better balance. Now, the romance is characterized by the World and the Emperor. So for some of you, there may be tied to an Aries person. You may have connections to somebody that is foreign, or somebody who has a background that's very different from yours. It could be something that's cultural, social, religious, financial. Somebody that may have different viewpoints than you do. This may be somebody that opens you up to new possibilities. It's also, again, about, being very protective of those around you. So it may be taking control of a situation. Now, for some of you, this is about travel. It's about, perhaps foreign destinations, or traveling long distance, or dealing with people who have a foreign influence. It could be something connected to your romance that is internet related on the World Wide Web. But for others of you, this is about looking at new possibilities. There's an assessment taking place of how far you've come, what the achievement is, and hopefully that there was a positive outcome. You're closing something up in order to begin a new cycle. So this assessment is necessary to determine what the status is, how far you've come in this relationship. Now, it means that perhaps it's time to change some old habits, some old ways, to restore that order, or to seek what is fair in a situation. So it's important that you forgive, that you have compassion, that you're more tolerant, but you also need to know what your limitations are, what you have to say no to, what is beyond your capability. Again, because you have issues here that connect to demands, expectations, responsibilities. And the Emperor says it's time for one of you to take charge of a situation. This is about leadership, initiative, applying yourself, asserting yourself, and trying to create some kind of foundation that provides some lasting security. So for some of you, you may be dealing with somebody who is very authoritarian, very in control, or you may be seeking that. It's all about personal power. Who's got it? Who's using it? Is it fair? Is it distributed equally? For some of you, perhaps you may be dealing with the government or a large company. Somehow an institution has a bearing on your romantic situation. For others of you, this is about having to face the music with regard to a situation. It could be you're dealing with somebody who doesn't want to grow up, or they don't know how to use their power, or they're a bully, they're domineering. And so this is about claiming your personal power and doing it effectively. Now, somebody is very focused on something. It could be just a lot of fantasy. There's an inability to make a decision or take charge of something. Or it could be that there is a unyielding focus on something in particular that has to do with divine time, the right time for something. And perhaps Something is being orchestrated by the universe in your relationship, and you have to trust that it's unfolding as it should in the time frame that it should. It could be that it's time to claim your power to act on something because you've achieved something. You want to take control of a situation, but you also want to assess what perhaps is beyond your ability to redistribute a situation. But the problem is this High Priestess and the Queen of Swords. This is air energy, Gemini, Libra, Aquarius, Sun, Moon, or Rising, male or female. You will definitely be making some decisions. These could be decisions that tie to some kind of emotional disappointment, whether you want to separate, get a divorce, or some hardship that you may be experiencing as a couple or individually. It could be a financial hardship, some health challenges, a betrayal of some sort, single parenting, or just past, issues where you're trying to restore some order. So there's some reconstruction taking place in a relationship, particularly if this is, if you're a male, your relationship to females is going to change. For some of you, you may be getting some advice. This could be an attorney, a consultant, an advisor of some sort. This would be somebody who has a lot of knowledge, a lot of skill. They're very analytical, they're well-spoken, they're intelligent, and they know how to put their ideas across. Now, negatively, if the queen is in her shadow, she can be bitchy. She is a ball buster. Her intent is to emasculate, to decimate, and she can do that very well, especially if she feels betrayed. She can be vengeful, and she knows how to make it hurt. With the High Priestess, there's something going on behind the scenes, something that either of you may not be aware of. And again, somebody may be searching to get some answers, and you may be connecting with somebody that can help you provide some insight into a situation. But again, you're re-evaluating some kind of promise between you, a goal, an objective, a desire, a belief, and you're now having to backtrack to see if that is indeed what you really want to do. Because whatever there is, it may be an opportunity is presenting, and you're having to look at what the merits are. Are you really going to get something out of it, or is it going to cost you more in the long run? Are there strings attached? With the High Priestess as a problem, it says that somebody may be totally in their head. They may be intolerant. And the World card says you have to open up to broader viewpoints. You have to be willing to look at the other person's vantage point. You have to have compassion and forgiveness. But in the problem area, that may be difficult for you to do. So there is a decision to be made where you're going to have to reevaluate some things, and you're doing it because of some past disappointments. There's some kind of opportunity that you're dealing with. Maybe you're trying to cut something off or separate yourself from something. And maybe it's the opportunity for seduction. Maybe somebody's making a decision about, you or your partner and a third party trying to seduce them. Or it could be you finding somebody very intriguing, or somebody's trying to seduce your partner. So there's some kind of issue where you're making some important decisions. You're trying to get to the bottom of something. And in fact, if you use this Queen of Swords properly, you'll be able to use your knowledge and your intuition in order to avert something negative. Now, the underlying energy is this Nine of Cups. Somebody's seeking satisfaction. And this is a good time to get your wish if you want something. So if you're in a negotiation with your partner, or you're involved in some kind of legal situation where you're seeking counsel, this is a good time to put your agenda forward, because you very well may get it without a lot of resistance. That's why it's important to be clear and discerning about what you really want, because you may get it. Or negatively, perhaps something you want is delayed, or there's a setback, or it's not what you thought it would be. When you opened up that package, you weren't pleased with what was inside. So this is about your level of satisfaction, and where either of you may be closing off emotionally to the other one, especially if there's a lack of compassion or understanding about somebody who may see things very differently than you. For some of you, something about your situation ties to some kind of social environment, perhaps where they serve drinks or food, bartending, coffee shops, restaurants, social events. For others of you, you may be coming in contact with somebody who is wealthy. They can provide some kind of opportunity or benefaction in your favor. There's some strong desire here, perhaps to purchase a home or property, or to create a better domestic situation. This is about having, domestic bliss. And you may be redecorating, renovating, moving, purchasing property, something that you have strong desires and you're seeking some kind of wish fulfillment. But somebody may be selfish or arrogant. Maybe you're dealing with a player or somebody that wants to keep everything for themselves. Now, the advice card is, I make room for romance. So if you're interested in restoring order, you're going to have to take control. You're going to have to start some new habits, whatever those are, to have more compassion and tolerance for your partner. Somebody needs to release some kind of emotional baggage or bad habits. You're going to have to make some decisions. The decision could be to reevaluate, to avert some kind of problem or challenge. If there's an opportunity for seduction and you're interested in romance, you're going to have to find the time. Perhaps you have to seek better balance between your personal life and your work life. Now, the outcome is this Queen of Wands and the Seven of Cups. So there could be some confusion, some depression, trying to sort some things out, a lot of options. This Queen of Wands may represent you or perhaps another fire sign. Aries, Leo, Sagittarius, Sun, Moon, or Rising, male or female, or just the traits of this queen. And this is somebody who is very passionate, very spontaneous. She knows what she wants, usually, except you have this Seven of Cups here, so somebody may be overwhelmed with their options. Somebody may be very popular, may be very in demand. That could very well be you. And so you're trying to sort out what you really, really want. This could also be, this is a queen who can be extravagant. She is very in touch with her desires, physically, emotionally. So she may be very focused on connecting physically, or maybe she spends money. She can be a patron or a benefactor of some sort, but she's very protective of those she cares about. And she can also be vengeful when she's cross. She is not somebody who, if you're the, meek or mild-mannered, she may overpower you with her personality. But she's also very charming, and so she can get away with a lot. So this is a period where either you or the partner is trying to use your magnetism to persuade the other one about something. There may be a lot of options. Maybe she wants you to buy something. Maybe it's an expensive property, or maybe it's redecorating. For some of you, maybe this has to do with the internet. This could be you receive some kind of information on the internet or Snapchat or an email. Maybe this has to do with artistic creations of some sort, or this person may be an artist. It could be somebody who's very psychically in tuned. So for some of you, you're trying to steer matters your way, but this is a period where you and your partner need to have clear priorities so that you're not wasting your time. You could be pursuing, something and scattering your energy and not really making a lot of progress. Now, if this is about somebody in high demand, you're going to have to cut through the fog to see perhaps what's the best partner for you? What's the best, where are you compatible? And for some of you, somebody may feel like they're looking at the other person who may suddenly start to put in a lot of effort. And now it's like, well, you're a little bit too late. I wanted you to do that a long time ago. So you're a day late and $1 short. So this is a card that says you're trying to steer matters your way, But you have to be careful so that, you know, you're in tune with the flow, you're in alignment so that you don't miss the boat. If you're able to reprioritize, to balance a situation, you may find that you have more time on your hands to be with your partner, to do the things that you enjoy. Now, for some of you, this is going to mean that you've double booked. You've spread yourself too thin. And in fact, you may find yourself in a situation where two people that are interested are there at the same moment, putting you in a compromising situation. There is some kind of secret taking place, something going on behind the scenes that has to do with an engagement. It could be a secret engagement, it could be a promise of some sort, a social function or social activity. So something is going behind the scenes that ties to a promise, engagement, or social invitation. Now, you have quite a bit of major cards. You have 5. So June is going to be an especially significant or spiritual month for you. But you also have a lot of keys to unlock the challenges that you face. So with the Judgment card, it means that when you come up against something, you're going to have patience. If your first response is to, blow it and become antagonistic or temperamental, that's where you fail. So patience is a key that helps you unlock a challenge. You also have the Lover's card, which says that you have to use your charm to perhaps gently persuade the flow of a situation to navigate it and make it turn out the way that you want. But you can't use that charm as your go-to if there's no substance behind it, because then it becomes manipulation, exploitation. So you have to be aware of doing that yourself, or have the awareness of that being an energy that you're meeting with in a partner or other people. You also have the World card. So this is about your enthusiasm, your ability to remain optimistic about opening yourself up to new possibilities, but also knowing what your limitations are. It's important for you not to be impractical about a situation and overreach. You have the Emperor card, so it means self-initiative, being a leader and using power in a positive way to move everyone forward, rather than negatively in tyranny, where somebody's being a bully or domineering or being too aggressive. You also have the High Priestess, which means you're going to have to tap into that intuition. Use your insight to look at a situation rather than being intolerant right off the bat. Don't allow your prejudice or your bias to make your decisions for you. Don't have preconceived ideas. Use that World card to open up to new perspectives. And also be wary of trying to change a situation by manipulating it so that it suits your purpose, where you have personal gain at the loss of someone else. Now, you have 3 queens in here, so it means that you're connecting with some powerful and influential friends, or you're getting a lot of sympathy, or on the other hand, people are jealous. There's enmity, there's cattiness going on in your circle. These queens are very concerned with the World card. There could be some health issues, there could be travel issues, again, that foreign influence, achievement, triumph, and closing a cycle out to move on to something new. And, it's about sharing. You may find yourself, again, in a social situation. You may be with friends, you may be sharing information. And while you're gathered, you may also be getting some gossip or rumor that crosses your path. But you have to be careful of who you're connecting with and consider the source. Some of it may not be valid. It could be a blatant lie, it could be an embellishment, a stretching of the truth, and a distortion of some sort. So you're going to have to use your common sense about whether it makes sense what you're being told. And it has to do with agreements, contracts, partnerships, your attachment level to people, situations, and circumstances. And so it could center around some form of exchange or a transaction, or again, opening up to some new ideas. And these are things where the benefit will come through others. There may be some favor that you're seeking or extending to others. And it ties to your partnerships, what you're putting in versus what you're getting out. Who's got the power? How's it being used? There's some kind of decision that has to be made, and yet there may be delays. It's a decision that has to take some time. So this is going to be a month of emotional developments because there are some changes in the plans. And it has to do with perhaps, meeting some objective that's likely to occur. You're likely to get your wish, although it may be in a different package, in a different time frame. So it's about, opening your perspective and having to tie up some loose ends in order to do that. You're also getting the opportunity to repair, to restore order, to clarify. Something that will give you the opportunity to meet your obligations that tie to your domestic affairs, your health, or your work in a better manner. And again, your partnerships, how you allow yourself to be handled in a partnership and how you're dealing with other people. All right, Sagittarius, I hope you enjoyed this reading. Don't forget to hit that notify bell. Let's create some positive change in your relationship. Let's create a love revolution.